This meme has been floating around and it serves to demonstrate the stark difference between the perspectives of men and women. It was made by feminists to try to shame men into realizing the impact that unwanted compliments had on them. But instead, men started commenting saying how much they would love it if women gave them attention like this. Most women get more attention than they can handle from a young age, being a child one day and then appearing on men's radar the next, and this can be very distressing. Meanwhile, most men feel starved of attention. Most men remember compliments from strangers for years, and if they talk about this, they're not given much sympathy for opening up. And other than a small proportion of very attractive men, most young men feel unseen by women. However, when a man establishes himself and becomes an attractive, interesting, confident, and charismatic person, his experience of life can suddenly and dramatically change. After starving for attention for most of his life, he suddenly feels like a kid in a candy store. And to women who've been in this candy store of attention since they were young, the man's behavior can seem very strange. Why is he so excited about this? Why is he indulging in so much short-term attention? Why doesn't he just pick one girl and settle down? Well, it's because he still lives like someone for whom attention and sexual interest is rare. And so he has a ravenous appetite for what he didn't have before.
When you were at your peak value, you had zero interest in monogamy. But then you find a man who's 35 at his peak value. He's finally struggled and worked because when he was 19, no girl spoke to him. When he was 23, he was broke. When he was 24, he had no life experience. When he was 25, he couldn't fuck. When he was 20, whatever. He finally gets to the point where he's now at his peak value. Him at 35 is you when you were 19. And then you're sitting there saying to him, no, you should be monogamous. It's like, well, you fucking weren't. You did whatever you wanted in your peak. Now I'm finally got there. And I had to work for my shit. God gave you. God and L'Oreal gave you. I had to fucking struggle.
And once the genie is out of the bottle of easy short-term flings, it can be very difficult to transition back to monogamy. Because why would you? Your brain is finally enjoying all this validation from short-term attention. Your hard work over the years to get to this place has finally paid off. And there is some truth that not many people are really ready to be good long-term partners. It's rare to do the self-work required in order to become one. Media, music, culture, movies, social media all tell people, especially women, to maximize short-term sexual appeal instead of long-term relationship qualities. Many women experience a lot of validation from showing off short-term relationship traits, maximizing their sex appeal, but without realizing that these things are not necessarily the things that men are looking for in a long-term partner. And social media has said much about the dangers of female promiscuity and how it negatively affects pair bonding and the likelihood of long-term marital happiness. And this is true, it does affect women, but promiscuity affects men too. Maybe not in the exact same way, but to think that it doesn't is crazy. The modern world gives us the paradox of choice of sexual and relationship partners. In any avenue of life, we can spend more time thinking about, obsessing over, second-guessing, and regretting choices that we make when we thought we had a lot of options, versus the choices we make when we think we've only got a few. If we're on an airplane and we're given the choice of chicken or beef, we make the decision of what to eat very quickly and we don't put much thought into it. But if we're at a restaurant and they've got a huge menu of choices, we spend much more time thinking about what we'll pick, even if it's not so important in the grand scheme of things. But picking a partner does matter in the scheme of our lifetime. And it used to be that if we had any choice at all, and it wasn't just our parents or our tribe who chose our partner for us, that we could pick potentially one of a few unmarried women in the village to marry. Now, in the world of social media, we're given the perception of a choice of the whole world. It's extremely difficult to be satisfied with our decisions. But in any case, I don't think men are immune. I don't think it's easy to go from dating and sleeping with many partners to suddenly pulling up the handbrake and coming to a complete stop. It's always difficult to find the new normal. Now on to the point in the title of this video about sexual diabetes. Humans have a sweet tooth and crave sugar because we evolved in an environment where it was rare. But today it can ruin our health and result in things like diabetes, where our bodies can no longer handle the amount of sugar that we're giving it. If you've done the hard work and you've become more attractive and you can now feel like the kid in the candy store, evaluate where you are today. And don't try to make up for lost time and compare the attention you get as a man to the attention that women get. Because without some self-control and some long-term thinking, it is possible to eat so much of that candy that you get sexual diabetes and ruin your relationship health. Thank you very much for listening.